Ladies and gentlemen, if we could have everybody take a seat, we can start and hopefully get out of here at a relatively early hour. I have to give the cue to our folks. We're going to record this, so I need to give the cue to our recording folks. So in 3, 2, 1.
Recording in progress.
Magic.
Is that Siri or Alexis?
Good evening. Try it again. Good evening.
How you doing?
That's the way to go. Welcome to the 2024 Reston Association Annual Members Meeting. I'm John Farrell, and for the past year, I've had the honor and privilege to serve my fellow Restonians as the president of Reston Association. With us tonight, we have some special guests. Supervisor Alcorn is here. He's in the back. How are you? Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Also with us is Karen Harrison from Senator Boysko's office. Delegate Karen Keys-Gamarra said she would try to join us. She has 3 or 4 other meetings she's expected to be at tonight. So if you see her, feel free to say hello. And if she arrives, I'll be happy to call her out. It's always good to remember what Reston Association is. Within Reston Association, there are 63,000 people living in nearly 9,000 townhouses, 5,000 condominium units, 4,000 rental apartments, and 4,000 single-family detached homes on relatively small lots. Reston Association preserves 1,350 acres of open space, containing 4 lakes and 2 ponds. It maintains 55 miles of trail, 15 pools, 54 tennis courts, 17 ball fields, 8 pavilions, and 4 community buildings. Mike, you're really busy. Mike McNamara is a busy man. He's the head of our maintenance and our central facilities. To paraphrase a family friend, if you don't live in Reston, you're just camping out. The last year has been unexpectedly and exceptionally eventful for Reston. Together, you and the association defeated the attempt to locate a casino at the Wheelie Metro Station. Thank you for that. Those of us who live near the Wheelie Metro Station, especially thank you for that. Restonians will need to continue their vigilance as the proponents of that terrible idea promise to try again during the next General Assembly session. This year, the board adopted a budget that eliminates fees for our members' recreational passes. Hopefully everybody supports that. Members will have the free and full use of pools and tennis courts without having to pay extra for their passes. We want every member to get their membership card before the pool season starts, and if you already have one, you can renew it over the phone. So that should be easy, and everybody should be able to use all of those facilities. In 2023, the association, under the leadership of Director Laura Kowalski, there she is, Laura Kowalski, and volunteer Jane Brom, of whom we will hear more later, completed the first professionally conducted survey of association members and determined their desires for the future of our recreational facilities. The results of that survey will be our guiding star in decision-making regarding programs and facilities for our fellow members in the years to come. This year, the board approved the contract to renovate and improve the association website, which so many members have requested. During 2023, the board protected the interest of the Reston Association members in the rewrite of the county master plan with the help of Supervisor Alcorn. The board advocated and will continue to advocate for the inclusion of all Metro Station apartments into Reston Association. joining the 30 existing apartment complexes containing 4,000 apartments that are already members. If all 3,000 apartments around the TSA stations joined RA, your assessment would be lower by about $120 a year, which is the best way I can figure out to lower an assessment. The board adopted a strategic plan to guide the operations of the association for the next 3 years. The board established a land use committee to give members a continuous voice in their zoning actions shaping our city. The board also created a lake equity working group to develop the means so that every member of RA can enjoy all of our lakes. The board converted the unused Hunters Woods ball field into a beautiful garden. Yeah, that took too darn long, but we finally got it done. The association made several strategic leadership hires, and some of them have joined us tonight. An experienced Parks and Recreational Director, Peter Lusk. Peter, there he is the new Chief Operating Officer. I won't say he's the new Larry Butler because you understand why. An experienced Communication Director, Kara O'Donnell, to improve the communications between the association and our members. Kara. And just recently, we hired an experienced former National Park Service Director, Mike Reynolds. Mike is here. There he is in the back. To serve as the association's environmental director. And just last week, the association hired Ed Vroom, Ed's right back there, as our new Chief Financial Officer. Please welcome these new additions to the RA staff and continue to support our existing staff who are each committed to enhancing your experience. One example of that focus on enhancing the member experience is Winterfest. How many of you went to Winterfest? Yeah. Okay, more of you need to go next year. One of the great innovations that our CEO came up with. This was an event at Brown's Chapel to welcome in the holiday season with light displays, vendors, and food that was exceptionally well attended. Our Covenant staff, led by Cam Adams was over in that corner, has worked to streamline the design review board process to make it more user-friendly while continuing to enforce the covenants that protect our property values. That's a lot in a year. No wonder our meetings went so late. Please join me in thanking Vice President Jennifer Juszak, Treasurer Bob Petrine, there he is. Bob will be leaving the board after serving us for, is it 4 years? 4 years. And we thank him for all of that service to all of us. Let's see, Secretary Travis Johnson. Board Member Erwin Flashman, who was crucial to the Lake Equity Working Group. Lori Dodd is, I'm not sure, is she online? She's online. There you are, Lori Dodd. Trevor Greiwich, I saw Trevor. There we go. Director Mapar is in Spain, I think, still. Okay. And Director Margaret Perry is, there's Director Mapar was up there, and Director Perry. And there you go. Without all of their help, none of the foregoing could have been accomplished. And I sincerely thank all of them. We don't always agree, but you have 9 people in a room and they aren't. But at the end of the day, all of us put our egos aside in order to act in the best interest of the association as we each saw it. During 2024, the board looks forward to some of the following. The open of the newly renovated Lake Thoreau and Shadowwood pools. That's taken too long, but this year it'll happen. A new member-friendly RA website will be launched. We will be rebuilding the clay tennis courts at Glade to repair extensive storm damage. We will be rebuilding the ball fields at Hook Road, a personal favorite of mine, which will make them safer for the young ball players and their families. So we'll be moving those backstops closer in, so there'll be more room for the folks. We'll be installing automatic external defibrillators at Reston ball fields and other facilities to save members' lives. We'll be working with the Design Review Board as it reviews the plans for the Reston Town Center North, land that is subject to the RA deed and will be subject to DRB review. There is an agreement with the county to preserve 10 acres of that parcel as permanent open space. But the bonds to fund many of those improvements do not go to referendum until 2054, 30 years from now. What we are going to be focused on as we review those plans is what gets done with that property in the next 30 years. We can expect a return of the casino bill, and the board will need to continue the fight to oppose that idea, but we can only do it with all of your help. The board will be looking at a number of site-specific plan amendments to the Reston Comprehensive Plan. 10 of them are pending and 4 of them are slated for action soon. The board will be looking to adopt a capital budget program for upgrading Reston Association's remaining pools and other facilities. We've renovated 6 pools already, and we will need to renovate another 6 over the next decade. And one of the board decisions we'll have to make is, how do we fund those renovations? Do we fund them on a pay-as-you-go basis, or do we fund them by spreading that liability over the life of the facility? Our pools last on average about 40 years. So do we pay it all up front, or do we spread it out? The board will also work to amend the PRC ordinance to reverse the zoning administrator's opinion that hamstrings RA's ability to refresh our facilities, as the members asked for in our survey. That is a great deal to look forward to, and we hope you will, quote, get involved so that we can continue to live, work, and play in the city that we all love. Next, I need let's see. The minutes of last year's annual meeting were distributed, and I'm going to ask for unanimous consent for their adoption. Is there any objection to the adoption of the minutes from the 2023 annual meeting? Hearing and seeing none, they are adopted. The next item on the agenda is member comments. I'm going to direct you to the microphone over there. If you would like to make a comment, you'll have 3 minutes, unless you're representing a cluster or another group or organization, in which we'll give you 5. I ask that when you step to the microphone that you identify yourself and your address, and we'll begin here. Brittany will be timing you, and you will hear a sound that tells you your time is up. Please.
Hi, my name is Dino Sargos. I'm an Estonian since 1987. Usually,
Can we have the lights back up, please?
yeah, usually I have not any complaints, but I have a major complaint. I have been charged, and I have been many times, Mr. McNamara's office. I have asked him that you have an issue back of my house at the other house on my left. Numerous phone calls and numerous
Try and stay in front of the mic.
numerous meetings, and there is not any solution. She told me that she's going to call me, never called me. I have been again in his office, and never he returned my call. We have a major issue. The issue is this: when the people that they cut the trees, they don't take the whole tree out, because when I cut my tree from my yard, I take the whole tree out, taking the pieces, and I pay to do this. But they throw down on the ground. I talked to the people that cut the trees, and they said to me to go to Mr. McNamara. I went to Mr. McNamara. He said, "Don't worry, I'm going to take care." Sir, it's 6 months, more than 6 months, nothing has been done. It's a major issue because they don't take the tree, when you cut the trees, they let it down. They accumulate a lot of debris, and they left a lot of our property depreciated. This is a major issue. We must take care. And I don't know what Mr. McNamara is going to do. Do you mind to talk to us?
No, sir, these are member comments, it's not a dialogue, and
Okay.
I'll be happy to, well, the board and our CEO will take up the issue after tonight, so.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, thank you. You'll get his address? Thank you. Any other member wish to be heard? Ma'am? If you can have your name and address, please, once you get to the mic.
My name is Denise Boland, and I live at Hunter's Woods at Trail's Edge. That's 2222 Colts Neck Road, apartment 4557. I first started informing, I believe it was Mr. Zeeland, about garbage on the trail that I use, which is the portion of the tunnel on Colts Neck up into Reston Community Center where I swim. There was a lot of glass accumulating, and it was not being picked up. It was a danger to runners, which I am not, I'm a swimmer. And as I speak, there's green glass that is bashed to the left side of the crest of that trail before you get to Fellowship House. So it is really a chronic problem, not just, I mean, I'm not going to pretend that it's an enormous amount of glass at the moment. The second issue is I tried to swim all weekend, all year, and that includes February when we had the snow. I know that people attempted to clear that trail, but the ice accumulated underneath it, and we got new snow, and I had no idea where was the ice underneath it because it was fresh snow. So I was told by another party close to the association that what the amount of trails that need to be cleared, et cetera. But I just thought perhaps they could prioritize the trails to be cleared because some people never walk on specific trails. And I think it was clear by the...
If you could wrap up, ma'am. Please
Yeah,
go.
okay. It wasn't an angel, snow angel, sliding down. It was me. I would try to get up as far as I could, and I would slide down and I'd be in the ice again. So that's an issue that I think Reston Association should pay attention to next winter. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. There was someone else. Please.
Good evening. My name is Jerry Valoy, and I live at 2140 South Bay Lane in Reston, Virginia, of course. And I just want to say that it is with the amount of growth that we're experiencing in Reston, I just want to give my congratulations to the board on exciting some of those developments to come within the deed of the Reston Association and to make them members of the Reston Association. And I just hope that you continue to have success with exciting the rest of the members or the rest of the development to join the Reston Association. It will have impact upon RA's facilities. And I hope you're getting all the help that you can from all the board members in making that happen. And Supervisor Alcorn, I hope you're helping in that issue as well. because it will impact the Reston Association. And I congratulate you again for getting those 4,000 members to join the Reston Association. Well done.
Thank you. Please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Alfredo Diaz, and I live at 1444 North Shore Drive. There are a new building across from the building 32 townhouses in Reston. It's a great project. But unfortunately, there is an issue, and I brought it here into the office of the association, and they say the issue must be handled by DOT because it has to do with the following. Because of the construction of the townhouses, a lot of trucks come in and out, and there's a lot of dirt follow into the small private drive where you pull in. And that drive, it doesn't have a name, so if it ends at the North Shore Drive. It's a lot of dirt, it's a lot of debris carrying out into the public North Shore Drive from a private street, which is part of the Reston Association because it's a private land. So I talked to the contractor and I said, well, we're going to clean it once a week on Friday. That needs to be cleaned every day because the debris remains there for all the days and it's dust. And when cars come into the parking lot, it brings all the debris into the garage or the Lakeland house. That's what they call now, Lakeland house, no any longer fellowship. So the issue is not to be handled really by the DOT or Virginia DOT or Fairfax. It is to be handled by the Reston Association to contact the contractor to make sure that they clean the street every day at the end of the shift. Simple. They just can drive a truck with the water and clean it. Well, obviously, they don't want to spend the money. That's where it's at. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. There was another hand or two. Ma'am. Anybody over here? Because I keep looking that way. Okay, good.
Hi, everyone. My name is Callie Ambacho, and
Can you pull that microphone down a little bit?
sure, or I can just do this. I know. Thank you. My name is Callie Ambacho, and I live at 11256 Chestnut Grove Community. I've lived there for over 17 years, and it's sad to say that this is my first meeting coming to, and that's bad. But I love the fact that I've seen all the developments in Reston, and it's great. But for those of us who've been here for long enough, we've seen some of the good benefits kind of, taken away in terms of parking and all that good stuff, but it comes with growth, and that's fine. But my concern is, now that we are getting more members to join in the RA Association, those of us who started paying, with the association, the member fee or the assessment, thank you, fee, I don't know, $300. Now we're at $800, and yes, it's been many years, and we need the money for the growth. But my fear is, at some point, is it going to be exorbitant to where those of us who've been here long enough are going to say it's starting to not make sense to live here anymore? So these are the concerns that I have, and I don't know, maybe it's been discussed before in my absence. I may not have the answer, but if it's possible to discuss about this, or if you have an answer, whichever way I can get it, I would love to know what the answer would be. If there's, any overspending where we can cut, I don't know, but I'm just voicing my concern.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your concern.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Anybody else? Ma'am.
Hi, my name is Evelyn Cedar Sierra. I moved to Reston in 1990.
Can we have your address?
1557 Bennington Woods Court.
Thank you, ma'am.
I moved
go
in
ahead.
1990 with Mobile Corporation, who at some point was involved with owning part of the land in Reston. It has been great living here. But throughout the years, I still live in the same townhouse. Children grew up, we didn't want to buy a bigger home, and there we are. So I've been on this board since 1995. And we've gotten some help from the Reston Association at times, but most recently we have a very big issue with drainage, and I was really happy to see this because we're gonna need help, big time. He did the show and tell for us. He was amazing, and a group of other people that came with him.
Cam is amazing.
He is.
And we're lucky to
I don't
have
know
him.
how he had all of this on the top of his head. And anyway, so we're going to need help with this drainage issue because phone calls have been made by the previous presidents in our board. And one of the solutions that came from Reston Association was that we should hire a Boy Scout troop to bring mulch and dirt and stuff to kind of help guide the water that's coming in. Well, we've spoken to experts, and that is not the answer. We share the land. Part is ours, and the other half is Reston Association. So someone, I don't know who, I recruited some people from our community. We're going to figure out, and we hope someone gets back to us as to who we should be talking to about this, because our backyards and paths are a mess. They're getting slimy, they never dry up, the grass doesn't grow. And, you know, I moved here from Brooklyn. I want grass. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else? Anyone else? Going once, going twice. Mr. Cummins, you're on. Our CEO, Matt Cummins, who joined us 18 months ago? About that, from Bellevue, Washington, and has made a real impact on our association.
All right, thanks, John. Everybody hear me okay? Yes. Awesome. I guess I just want to start with, this is my very first in-person annual members meeting. I am told that a big attendance is typically somewhere in the 70 to 80 person range. We capped reservations at 145 people and sold out and standing room only. So that's a big deal from my perspective. So I am super excited to see you all here. So I'm going to run down a little bit tonight and give you sort of a state of the association and a number of things that we've accomplished over the course of this year, and then speak a little bit towards what we're looking for next year. I was reflecting on kind of thinking what I would want to sort of start with, and I think what I want to start with is just talk to you a little bit about how we view the association, your employees, the staff that come in every day to try to make a difference in the community on your behalf. A lot of times the staff use the word family to describe Reston. I'm new to the community. I've been here 18 months. I'm pretty sure that I'm only about 32 years away from being an official Restonian. But I've come to embrace that ideology and ethos in a big way. And I'm going to talk to you all tonight about what that means and what the association's been doing to try to further those objectives. When I was over at Founders Day over the weekend, and a number of people that knew Bob Simon were talking about things that he had said to them or things that we've adopted in policy and what it means to us and how we're trying to live out those ideals, one of the things that continues to come to my mind is the idea that Reston, and specifically the Reston Association, is about community building. And the idea that we exist as an entity to live, work, and play, to help people get together, to enjoy the natural environment, to provide services that everyone thinks are valuable, and help get people to enjoy the place that we call Reston. So one of the things I'm very fond of doing is challenging and talking to anyone, and not just the staff. So anyone in here that has good ideas, I'll challenge you anytime you want to talk to me about things you think we should be doing out in the community. A year ago, we talked about what should we do differently? What should we do to be more member-focused? What does it mean to build community? And there was a series of things that we did, and we're going to highlight some of those here in a video in a second. A couple of things I just want to draw attention to. One of the things that I personally observe, our headquarters are in this building. and not directly out in the middle of the community. So we are looking for ways to engage with you all out in the community. And one idea that we came up with was to every week between April and October, go out to the Lake Ann Farmers Market, where you can do business with the association, get information about anything you want to know about. There are thousands of people that come through every Saturday morning. So we are really, really excited about that program and looking to expand into other types of community events around the community. So if anyone's involved in something like that and think the RA presence might make sense, please let me know. But so starting 2 weeks from Saturday, we will be there every Saturday until late into the fall. Last year, coming out of COVID, we introduced the idea of pool parties and getting people together to celebrate some of our recreational facilities. I'm going to talk about this a little bit later, but this is the 60th anniversary of Reston, and it's definitely a time to celebrate. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. And I actually just want to spend a few moments talking about Winterfest. So President Farrell talked about Winterfest. Winterfest is an idea that, from my perspective, embodies a lot of the things that you all talk to us about and ask us to think about. And it ended up involving every department that RA employs. It ended up involving our 501c3 foundation, the Friends of Reston. And when we first talked about it, we said, well, what would a successful event look like? How many people do you think we'd be able to generate? And people were putting out numbers, 1,000, 1,500, 1,800, some number like that. We ended up with 5,000 people over a 3-day event. And for a first-year event, that was phenomenal. One other story that I want to highlight, because this is really how things can happen. So we're looking, as you might imagine, at the cost, and one of our goals is fiscal responsibility, and an idea starts to generate. Well, what if we partnered with our 501c3 foundation? And what if they were able to donate something to RA? And we kick that around. Well, what if they donate a whole bunch of Christmas trees? What could we do? So what if we got the Christmas trees, and what if we then turned around and sold them to private companies that could use it as a team building event to come down and decorate the tree with whatever they wanted? And then we could offset the cost of the event to the general membership. And then what if we did that, and what if we partnered with nonprofits like Cornerstones or other entities so that at the end of the event we could get those trees into the hands of people that otherwise couldn't afford them, including all the ornaments that were strewn on the trees. And through the work of a whole bunch of volunteers and the staff, we made that happen, and all of that came to be over the span of a couple of months. And to me, that's a team building effort on behalf of the entire community, and I just want to celebrate the success of all of that. All right, I have a couple of more programmatic things, but why don't we go ahead and jump to the video. So as you see, the amount of services that we provide is truly amazing. I want to hit on a couple of other things, and then we'll get on to the rest of the program. President Farrell mentioned the recreational pass program. I also want to highlight that, and I want to thank the board for its support in advancing this initiative. To me, I think having everybody have the opportunity to get together and to fully use RA's facilities, back to the community building concept, really advances where we are as a community and gets us all together. I thought I would just give everybody a quick update. We are well more than double the amount of passes that we have issued by this time. Last year, we were at about 2,000 passes issued, and right now we're at a little under 5,000. So the word's getting out. Please spread the word. President Farrell mentioned the community survey. I too would also like to thank Laura and team, and of course we're going to talk about Jane and her work, as well as PRAC's involvement here when we move on. But that effort was tantamount to something we desperately needed, which is good data to make strategic decisions about the future of our capital facilities and programming. And we use it very much every single day in a lot of our decision-making, and we've already begun implementing some of that. I thought I might just give everybody a rundown on some of the key findings, and then just point to where you can see all the results. But I thought I would first start with, when we did the survey, in order to be statistically significant, you need a few hundred people, maybe 400, 500 at the most. We talked again about what success might look like there, and we ended up with over 1,700 responses, which is by far the biggest response rate RA's ever had for this type of effort. So why is that important? It's important because we really heard from you all, from the community, about what you value most. And the things that we heard primarily, trails. Trails are the most important facility that we have. Almost every person in RA uses the trails, and most people use them multiple times a week. It's the idea of being able to live, work, and play and walk and be out in nature that draws people to this community. In fact, piggybacking on that, an overwhelming majority of people told us that those types of amenities are the reason they moved to Reston and the reason they continue to love and live in Reston. So thinking about that, we took a look at the remainder of the results and wanted to try to make sense out of them. There's an enormous amount of data. The key findings really were that the community wants to focus on maintaining our existing facilities, not look at, say, building new facilities or new types of facilities, but upgrade what we already have when we're doing the maintenance. There was definitely a finding that we want to keep all 15 neighborhood pools. I don't think I needed a survey to tell me that. I'm pretty sure I heard that like statistically significant times in the first week I was here. But that really is a very important thing. And I think what we learned as staff through this, and I think you all told us in no small measure, that you view those sorts of things as community amenities that you expect to be able to walk to, share family time with, and enjoy. And I think that's a really important thing as I work with the board on the future of our capital improvement program. So we've already begun implementing many of the findings in the community survey, notably around pool hours and programming. So a number of people talked about wanting different kinds of programming or different kinds of the day based on demographics and when they wanted to use those facilities. So look for that already. You'll see some of those things happening. Every quarter, we're going to bring back to the board a report on the community survey and what implementation things are happening or have happened throughout that quarter. And then as part of our annual plan, of course, we'll be talking about the next major moves to implement those findings. So I think I'm going to close, and I'm thinking about the 60 years of Reston and what that means and where we're going from here. There are going to be a number of really exciting things that happen over the course of the next year. How many people in the room know that we're hitting a major milestone for camps? The board. Okay. So not only is this the 60th year of Reston, this is the 50th year of providing camps to our children. And I mention that because it is amazing to me how many of our campers come back as camp counselors and then either come back and work on staff or want to be involved in the community or come back and live here and say, oh, I did camp in, pick a year. these kinds of programs create life memories that people really do believe in this sense of community. And so that's a big milestone for us. So look for a lot of marketing and things that are coming out on that. As I mentioned earlier, we're hitting the 60th anniversary, so we're looking to pivot some of our other events like pool parties into anniversary parties. And so we will have some things coming forward just as new types of events, and hopefully everybody's interested in doing some of those things. We are going to continue excellence in all service areas, and that's an important thing to me. I strive for excellence in everything we do. I think as you're hearing some of the public comments, and you heard from President Farrell on behalf of the board, we have a number of excellent department directors and staff that get up every day to want to serve the community in the best way possible. So we said goodbye to some longtime employees over last year and welcome some amazing new employees. And I want everybody to hear me say, thank you to all of the staff for all of the tireless work they do, on a daily basis. So, Winterfest planning is underway already. I told Laura Kowalski we get 5,000 people. We're doing a lot better than that. And then she ran out of my office. But honestly, I have no doubt in my mind we're going to build on success on that one going forward. So it's been my privilege to be here for the last about 19 months now, and looking forward to a great 2024. I'm going to bring back up John Farrell. We are reintroducing a volunteer recognition program. And so we have some awards that give out, and we want to talk about some of the service that some of our volunteers have given.
It really is stunning to see the level of professionalism and the increase in expertise that Mac has brought to the senior leadership team. I could not have expected it when we hired him, and I think all of us are just thrilled with the hires and the programming that we've seen over the last 19 months. So thank you, Mac. Brock. We're giving out this year 2 Volunteer of the Year awards. And do you have some comments you'd like to make?
Yes, may I?
Please do.
Good evening, members and volunteers. Volunteering and community service are deeply rooted in our community's core values, thanks to our founder, Robert E. Simon Jr. Every year, hundreds of volunteers support RA's mission by serving on RA Board of Directors, one of our many advisory committees and work groups, helping with community events and programs, or participating in environmental projects. Volunteers are truly our backbones in Reston. This year marked another exceptional year of volunteerism. Volunteer Reston saw growth from our community citizens donating their time, talents, and resources to enhance our programs, services, and natural areas. We value our volunteers' feedback, learn from their perspective, and consider ourselves fortunate to work with such a dedicated group of community citizens of all ages. Thank you to all our volunteers that have assisted with our natural area enhancement projects, Nature Center, community events, and so much more. In 2023, over 1,000 volunteers participated in over 80 volunteer opportunities in Reston. Volunteer Reston hosted several corporate service projects and continue to support community organization with their volunteer needs. The Friends of Reston. That's wonderful. Okay, so without further delay, let's recognize this year's Volunteer Service Awards recipients. As a key member of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Subcommittee, Jane Brom has provided informative and timely advice perspective to the Reston Association Community Survey. She brings over 30 years of marketing research, economic forecasting, and business strategy consulting experience, working for several of the world's most highly regarded research agencies as a trusted advisor to some of the most successful multinational companies. The 2023 Community Survey was conducted to collect critical feedback from our members to inform RA's short and long-term planning for our parks and recreational facilities and programs. Jane has worked tirelessly and put in a great deal of her valuable time More than 400 emails later, community engagement, analysis, collaboration with our vendor and staff, presentation to multiple audiences, which equates to well over 1,000 hours on this important community survey campaign. She was instrumental in coordinating the education, communication, and outreach campaign. She worked with Noise Doctors, Inc., the Parks and Recreation members, and RA executive team on the marketing plan, intercept survey, and community outreach. The week before her knee surgery, she hit the pavement at tennis courts and pools, intercepting members on the importance of the community survey. Thanks to Jane's leadership, dedication, and background, we had a total of 1,773 completed surveys, representing the largest participation to date for any RA survey. So please join me in congratulating Jane Brom, RA's 2024 Volunteer of the Year. Is she on there? So we have a plaque here. Thank you, Jane. So we'll get this after her. She couldn't be here tonight. She is actually moving to, is it, you remember where?
Jane is, I can't tell you how much we relied on Jane. 1,000 hours may be less. I first started working with Jane on the community survey. It has to be 3 years ago, Julie. Is that sound about right? And 1,000 hours at her hourly rate would have cost us about $1 million. And that's the level of value she brought to the exercise. Jane has moved, but we have her phone number. And we have her email address, and she's promised to help us understand the data going forward. So we will get her, which one is this? We will get her this award, and our hearty congratulations and our deep appreciation, because without her expertise and her dedication and her perseverance, we wouldn't have the information that's going to enable us to do a wonderful job for the association members in the decades to come. So on behalf of Jane, thank you very much, and we'll make sure that she gets this award. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so our next recipients. The Reston Association Parks and Recreation Department is supported by youth volunteers who serve the Reston Association and community throughout the year. RA has been fortunate enough to have Anna Najafi as a volunteer this past year. Anna is currently a sophomore at Thomas Jefferson High School in Alexandria and has been a consistent face at RA. She has logged more than 60 hours since April of 2023 as a volunteer at our community events and environmental projects. She has supported most of the summer dog paddles, planted trees at Arbor Day, which is, by the way, tomorrow, removed invasives in our natural areas at Habitat Heroes, assisted staff with different tasks at Halloween events, Winterfest, and so much more. She takes pride in helping us with our projects and community events. Even with her strenuous academic and social schedule, Anna always makes time to volunteer with us. She has a passion to give back to the community every chance she has. You can say that she is an ambassador of fun. Her positive attitude and willingness to serve our community are greatly appreciated. Anna has made volunteering as an integral part of her life and has earned the gratitude of those she serves. So please join me in congratulating Anna Najafi, RA's 2024 Youth Volunteer of the Year. We're going to go begin.
Okay. You want us over here? Okay.
I'm done. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you for all you do for Reston. I really love working with our volunteers, and this is actually my 20th year here at RA. So thank you.
The first person I met on the RA staff was Ha Brock. Because she got me to spend some time on a committee back, only 15 years ago, I introduced everybody else. I failed to introduce Ha, but she's an amazing human being, and we're extremely lucky to have her helping us. So thank you, Ha.
Okay, so I wanted to add a new item to the agenda here tonight. As the CEO, and I'm really glad that we set attendance record here tonight. Sometimes I'm not sure that members of the community know how much time members of our board dedicate to the community on your behalf. And I wanted to set aside some time for those board members that are finishing out their terms, whether they're running for re-election or not, just to speak to you and thank you on behalf of the association, and the community. So as I was thinking about that, I want to say a few words about each of the individuals here tonight. There are 4 that are finishing their terms. Some are running for re-election, some are not. Just to put it out there, I have no idea the outcome of the election like everyone else in the room. And I just wanted a moment to speak to that, because many of you are coming down here and you don't realize how much time that everybody dedicates. And I want the board members that are finishing their terms to know how much you've meant to me, the staff, and the overall association. So I haven't picked any particular order, but I'll start with Margaret Perry, who is our apartment owners representative, who I believe was online. She's out of town here tonight. As I was thinking about her tenure on the board, she was on the board when I first started, and then she was off the board, then she was reappointed to the board. Margaret is a passionate person, and she's an advocate for community building. The one thing, though, that she brought to me and made me think quite a bit about, Margaret routinely talks about renters in our community and the nature of renters and the role of renters and how RA should be thinking about looking to reach renters. And frequently, homeowners associations can become very focused on just the property ownership group, and we have a substantial amount of renters and or more disadvantaged community populations in our community. And Margaret is really, really good about speaking about that to the board and thinking about our communications plans and our programming. So Margaret, I just want to thank you for the things you've brought to me and the association. And I should have said, I'm just going to go through all 4, and then we'll do one big round of applause at the end. So I should have started with that before I did an awkward thing there. Jalal Mapar is the most recent of the appointments to the board as an at-large director. One of the things that I appreciate most about Jalal, he always brings a big picture focus. He always talks about performance and performance metrics, and he challenges me a lot. How do we define success? What does success look like? Let's not get lost in the weeds, and let's see how it all adds up and fits together. From a CEO perspective, those are traits that force me to think a lot about the long term and the strategy and how we want to get there. And one of the things I'm frequent of saying is I want to make the sum worth more than the whole of its parts. And when Jalal speaks to those sorts of strategic things, I very much enjoy that exercise with him. So thank you, Jalal, for that. Jennifer Juszczyk. I was sort of thinking, how would I describe Jennifer? And the first word that came to my mind was tenacity. Tenacity in a lot of things. Leadership, detail-oriented. She has a very keen eye and pays a lot of attention to the fiscal matters. So she's on our fiscal committee and comes with well-thought-out questions routinely, asking questions of myself, the board treasurer, as well as the staff about what's going on with the finances in the organization. One of the things that I personally really appreciate about Jennifer, her background in organizational development and some other types of HR sorts of things. I very much enjoy my conversations with her, talking about leadership, management, things that are going on around the world. And so I thank you, for that. And last but not least, our outgoing treasurer, Bob Petrine. Bob is one of the jewels of the board. He is very even-keeled. He is incredibly measured in his thought process. He's been the treasurer here. He's been an incredible advisor to me. his counsel, Bob, your counsel is the only word I can describe as wise. And I very, very much appreciate the time you've been willing to spend with me as I take over this animal called RA and try to understand the history of the finances and something called the lake house and all sorts of things, that have happened over the last decade or so. Thank you for your service, Bob. You are stepping off the board, but I know you will be around quite a bit, so we will see you often and frequent. So thank you to all four of you, and I'd like everybody to give them a round of applause. And so with that, I'm going to bring up Ed Abbott, and we are going to talk about the results of the election.
Where'd you get that picture? Jesus. God. She asked me if I had a professional picture, and the last time I had one taken, I had hair. I will be brief. There's beer and food left over there. So, good evening. My name is Ed Abbott, and I am chair of the Elections Committee. I'm here to announce the results of the 2024 Board of Directors elections, which were tabulated by IntelliScan and the association's third-party counting agent. Oh, sure. I thought it might slide. Oh, okay, well, it didn't. Before I begin, I want to extend my thanks to both the Reston Association staff and the members of the Elections Committee for their dedication and hard work throughout the election process. Your commitment for ensuring a fair and smooth process was fundamental to the success of the election. Thank you for everything you've done to support our community's democratic process. I guess the table you see here, there you go, shows the votes cast in each race. Thank you for those who voted, for participating in the local governance of your community. I should also add, it's one of the higher percentages we've seen in a few years. Okay, now, I lost my place. Now, on to the results. Do we have a slide? Oh.
This went much better in rehearsal.
Sure did. The winner of the first at-large seat for a term of 3 years with 4,677 votes is Izzy Santa. The winner of the second at-large state for a term of 3 years with 2,870 votes is Jalal Mapar. The winner of the South Lakes District seat for a term of 3 years with 1,712 votes is Jennifer Juszczyk. Juszczyk. I didn't pronounce it right, sorry. The winner of the apartment owners representative with 1,002 votes is Margaret Perry. Congratulations to our elected board members. We wish the new members joining the board well as they step into this prominent leadership role for the Reston community, and thank those board members continuing for their service. Detailed reports on the results will be made available soon and shortly on the RA website. Let's give a round of applause to our 2024 Reston Board of Directors. They are Lori Dodd, North Point District Director, John Farrell, At-Large Director, Erwin Flashman, Lake Ann Tall Oaks District Director, Trevor Graywatch, At-Large Director, Travis Johnson, Hunters Woods Dogwood District Director, Jennifer Juszczyk, South Lakes Director, Jalal Mapar, at-large director, Margaret Perry, apartment owners representative, and Izzy Santa, at-large director. Thank you again and congratulations. I'm going to get a beer.
Thank you, Ed, and we'll work on rehearsal a little bit more next year. With that, let me just also thank the folks who ran but didn't get elected. Offering yourself for election and subjecting yourself to what can sometimes feel like rejection by your neighbors can be a brave thing to do. Having done it a couple of times myself and not always been successful, it can be tough, and it's frequently a lot of hard work. Last year when I was campaigning, I actually fainted and cracked my head open. And was taken to the Reston Hospital where they put in four stitches. So literally, I bled for this job. So hopefully no one else has to go through that kind of thing again. Well, that's the end of our annual meeting. I thank all of you for coming out, the largest turnout we've ever had for an annual meeting. There is lots of food left. There's lots of adult beverages and some juvenile beverages, and so I don't want to have to take any of it home, so please help yourself. Thank you and good night. Thank you.